Welcome to another moment of enlightenment that we call Woody's Tapestries. Here on Woody's Tapestries, we like to put our heads together and come up with a something. And let me tell you something. This week, we came up with a little something. Okay? So before we get into that, I want you to hit the button to subscribe, ring my bell, and make sure you leave a comment and give me a thumbs up. Now here's a question that I want to ask the whole country. Do we really know what time it is? I mean, do we know what time it is? You know, because before clocks and watches and computers came along, everybody had a different time. So I'm just wondering, what time is it? One thing for sure, sad as a human being, if you don't know how to express the one emotion that is basic through all of us, and that is love. You know? Now, last week we talked about knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. This week, guilty. Now, that's not the topic. That's just 3 words that has been echoing throughout this country and throughout the world. Guilty. Now what? I tell you, now that we've gone through that, it's time for healing. If you are an American, which I'm hoping that you are, there are some things that you should just get straight off the top. And you shouldn't even have to ask for it, like freedom. That's what this country was founded on, just basic principles. And one of those basic principles being able to be free. You need to be able enough to wrap yourself in Old Glory. Tis of thee. And you should be able enough to have her protect your citizenship and not have you get abused. So placing your knee on a man's neck until he dies, until he's dead. Well, let me ask this. What did we learn from that? One thing that we definitely learned that they teaches us is this. If you're going to hold a man down, you got to stay there right with him to hold yourself down. So what you want to be able enough to do is allow other people to live so that you don't be trying to hold them down. They want to hold you down. Now think about it. Whether it's 9 minutes and 29 seconds or 500 years, until America gets its knee off my back and my neck, all of the citizens that are people of color in this country, she will continue to stay in a place of turmoil. That's the only way you can be free, America. You got to free your people. Look at the thousands, if not millions of lives all over the world that was affected by one single act. And now, neither one of those families will ever be the same. When do you go and where do you go when a member of your family has created something as heinous as murdering somebody on TV? And I mean, and the world gets to see it. Where do you run to hide your pain? And you know it causes pain all over the world because people marched all over the world because America, let's get to the topic. What time is it? What time, America, is it right now? Is it time for us to realize how far we need to go by turning around and seeing how far we've come? See, George Floyd's family, they will always be reminded of that crazy, tragic day when they're seeing their loved ones being held down, defenseless and helpless, and a knee of America's best at the neck of their father, their son, or their brother. You get my point. In America, we sat around and held our breath as if we was crazy enough to believe that the rest of the world wasn't watching this. And we watched this horror play out in front of us with another white police officer murdering another black man. What time is it, America? What time is it? Not like those cowards back in the 1900s. They used to ride around boogity, boogity, boogie, carrying flags and hollering and making noise and burning crosses and stuff and hiding their face with sheep. No, these guys now, they don't ride around and hide their face. No, they executed this guy in broad daylight in front of the world. And America actually had to discuss this with proof of guilt. We know because we all saw the video. But this one selfish act is now going to cost this person the rest of their life. 9/29. But hold up. As a country, we can do better. We have to do better. I just want to share a story. Surprise again, right? This story is a little different than some of the other stories. And this was something that was told to me because a person wanted me to understand my identity. And I wasn't acting like I knew who I was. So they told me this little story. It's a little long, but just bear with me. See, this farmer found this little baby eagle, and it had fallen out of its nest. And he didn't know what it was. And it was a bird. He had chicks because he was a farmer, so he just stuck them in there with the rest of them. See, he didn't know what he had, and the chicks didn't know what it was. But because they was all young at first, it was easy for him to just pretend to be one of the chicks. So he's sitting around in the yard, plucking and clicking and doing what he do. But I ask you, did that remind you of anybody or anything? See, that's kind of like how America was and is. To try and change who you are by where they place you. And just like that eagle, eventually you're going to grow up and you're going to start looking like what you really are. That's what I was going to say. But hold on. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So the eagle was in the yard. And while he was in the yard, he looked up one day and he saw something. And he couldn't quite make it out. So he goes to his friends and his brothers. And he said, hey, listen. He said, what is that? And he said, what is what? Now, see, them being chickens, they couldn't see as well as he could. He was an eagle and didn't know it. So he was looking up in the sky, and he saw this thing, and it was just moving, and it kept getting closer and closer and closer. And eventually, when it got close enough, he recognized that it resembled something that he knew. It was himself. And he calls up, hey, what are you doing up there? You're not supposed to be doing that. You know we can't fly. Chickens can't fly. And the eagle looks down at him and says, my young brother, look around. Did you notice that your wings was bigger than theirs? Did you notice that you had a much bigger, stronger body? That you could see things they couldn't see and hear things that they couldn't hear? You're supposed to be up here with me. Man, spread those wings that you got and flap. And so the eagle spread its wings out, and his boys came around because, they was all jealous and hating anyway. You can't do that. And he said, stand back. I'm getting ready to take flight. And he flapped his wings and he took off. And he became what he was, soaring above the clouds the way he was meant to. And as humans, we have a bad habit of trying to place our weaknesses onto each other. So when we do find something that's a little different, we try to change it. Well, why do you get so upset, America, after the eagle starts growing up and learning who it is, and we start reacting to our abuse? America, what time is it? See, the reason I'm telling this story is because America used the face of the eagle to try to use it as a symbol of strength. while at the same time locking up all of your identity and your person in prison, putting you, your ideals, your thinking, and the way that you do things, just putting them all in prisons. Different types. They locking them up. Old Glory does that. Hold up for a second. Let me rap. Getting a little cold, so put some more glory around. Bear with me. I know I'm tripping, but that's okay. That's what we do on the podcast. See, the farmer didn't know that he had a baby eagle. But what he found out, just because he didn't know what he had, didn't stop its greatness. And he put that greatness with things that wasn't great. That happened to another group. See, we got placed here just like the eagle did. The stolen Africans, you know, when we started and we came here, we had to do just like the eagle. We started acting like the chickens. I mean, Americans. So, have our country forgotten that this same stolen group of Africans that they call slaves, that we fought in every war, in every conflict this country has had, and most, if not all of this wealth that this country has is based on us. Now look here, the video is going to come up. Subscribe, ring my bell, and I just want to tell you I love being with you. Until we meet again, I just want to say this is Woody at Woody Tapestry. And one more time, you know what I didn't do? I didn't bring in my logo. Hold up, here it is. Logo. There she go. I thank you guys. Peace.